Catherine Hill of One Hill of a Life, and I am so glad you could be here with me today as I'm going to discuss my 2025 TBR. So moving forward for the rest of 2025, these are the books that are on my 2025 to be read list. These are hopefuls that I will get read. If I don't get them read, that's okay. They'll still be there next year. Books don't go anywhere. I'm just curious, how do you pick the books that are on your TBR? Are you a vibes or a mood reader? Are you someone that picks it up purely for the beauty of the cover? Or do you have books that you have to read for either school or a job? Just leave it down below how you have to read. I used to be a mood vibes reader, no list, just whatever felt right next. That was what it was going to be. The older I've gotten, the more books I have discovered that I want to read so I can know the stories. I usually find inspiration from YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest is a big one for me. I'm not on TikTok. I like to get my reels and shorts and videos on Instagram and YouTube 2 weeks later because I'm an elder millennial, folks. That's how I like to do it. But I'm just curious what inspires you to pick the books that you read. Everyone picks books differently. Everyone has different books they prefer to read, books that, they have to read or they want to read. I tend to like variety and I jump genres quite a bit now that I'm a little older. I used to be a person that only read, I liked romance, I liked spicy, and that's all I read. Those were what I knew, that's what I enjoyed. But as I've gotten older, I have been introduced to different books, classics, nonfiction. So I like variety. This is one reason why I absolutely love my book club through my library, because I don't know the book that we're reading until I show up and I get it in my hand, and that's what I read for the next month. So that helps with my tendency to genre jump and want variety, because they're not usually books I would pick for myself. But moving forward, what we all are here for is what is on my TBR for the rest of this year. In case you missed it, I'll link it down below, but I have my 2025 Q1 read recap. So these are all the books that I read in January, February, and March of 2025. And then this is what I hope to read moving forward for the rest of the year. So taking into account, I do have a library book club. I still have like 10 books. 10 books to read left for that this year. So we're going to kick it off with this month's selection, which is going to be Ellie and the Harp Maker by Hazel Pryor. So far, it's pretty good. Slowly getting into it, and I'm enjoying it. My book that I am currently listening to as an audiobook is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have never read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so I'm hoping that audio will get me started. While listening to this, I feel that it's almost would be better to read it. I feel like this is one where the words on the page make an impact. So who knows, maybe moving forward, if I can get to the Two Towers, that I might actually read the physical book over the audiobook, or I might do a tandem where I do both. So then we're going to go into, I kind of teased this in my Q1 video, where I said I had just finished the Crescent City book 2, and then I was going to move into Throne of Glass. I have looked for many different ways to read Sarah J. Maas's universe. So the one that I found that I was like, that seemed doable to me, was to read ACOTAR, the first 2 Crescent City books, then Throne of Glass, then the 3rd Crescent City book. So that's the goal. I'm hopeful to get there. The next book is One Dark Window by Rachel Gelling. And then those are my little more spicy books. So then I'm going to jump genres on you again. And I have Stars of Alabama by Sean Dietrich. And then we're going to shift again. Sean is known as Sean of the South. I might do a whole podcast or whole video on him, because Sean is just such an interesting writer. He is currently living. He's currently writing. I just find his story very fascinating. But jumping genres, we're moving into the classics, which these are books that have been on my to be read list for years. Some of these have, some of them only a few months. but they're still going to be there regardless of when I actually get to them. The hope is that I will get to them sooner rather than later. So starting off, we have Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile. I'm hoping to get to this one this year. Then we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. The Swiss Family Robinson. Then I have the next two are by the same author, which is Louisa May Alcott. And I have Jo's Boys and Good Wives. I'm very curious about these. I read Little Women a few years ago, and I just fell in love with it. So I'm hopeful that these will live up to that as well. I also would hope to read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen this year. And then the big one is Middlemarch by George Eliot. Hopefully, some of these are more just because they're classics, and they're classics for a reason, and I want to know that reason for myself. That is the end of the classics, and then we're going to switch into nonfiction, which I have 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Berkman. Sorry. My in-laws have suggested this. They actually gave this to my husband for Christmas, and I have snagged it. And I'm hoping to get this read. Maybe we can both read it, and then we can talk about it and discuss it with my in-laws. The next three books, they are nonfiction, but they are geared towards parenting. So I am married, and I do have some children. So these are books that I need to either finish or reread just to refresh myself with having children that are growing up. So I have Heartfelt Discipline by Clay Clarkson. And then the next two are both by Kim John Payne. He is, he works with children. I'm not sure I think he's a psychologist. I'd have to look that up. But his pretty famous book, Simplicity Parenting. And then the follow-up is The Soul of Discipline. I'm hopeful to get through those throughout the rest of this year. We'll see. It's just a matter of time, on those. I've already read them at least once. If I didn't finish them, then I probably should go back and reread it. But again, they'll be there, and I will get to them when I get to them. Because I look at it, TBRs are wish lists. Do I expect to read all of these books in 2025? Absolutely not. Am I going to be devastated if I don't get them read in 2025? Absolutely not, because they'll still be there next year. Sometimes books like Throne of Glass, I will usually put that after a book that I know is going to challenge me. So say something like Middlemarch, I might read Middlemarch and then know that I'm going to read Throne of Glass following it. So it gives me motivation to get through Middlemarch if it ends up being something that I'm not really enjoying in the moment. So it kind of helps my brain to be like, this is a reward. These books that you enjoy personally, that you gravitate towards naturally, you can read that after you get through this book that's a challenge. That's one way I like to get through my TBRs. So for me, I usually read about average 30 books a year. And that includes my book club books, which account for 12 of those books. This is mixed between audiobooks and physical books. It just depends. It depends on if I'm in a reading mood, if I'm in a reading season, or if I'm in a reading slump where I can barely get through a book, let alone all the books that I have a desire to read. There is no shame in if I get to read these or not. I don't actually have an assignment due, no grades dependent upon it. People are not relying on me to finish it, except for book club because they like to have a discussion. And that gives me motivation to read those books. So just be encouraged. Hopefully you found some suggestions, some encouragement. If you have any suggestions and want to share your TBR, please leave it down below in the comments. I'm also going to link to my Q1 Red recap down below. And hopefully maybe we'll come back in December and I can say, yes, I made it through all these books, or these are the books I made it through, and these are the ones that will roll into next year, and you might see them again. So thank you for being here, and I will see you around the next bookshelf.